Before we begin, 3 messages. What mobile platform do companies like eBay, NBC Universal, the Los Angeles Times, Razorfish, and PayPal use to build their cross-platform native applications? Titanium by Appcelerator. They aren't alone. There are now over 25,000 apps deployed by Appcelerator, which has been called the Rosetta Stone of app development. And you can start now for free. Just go to www.appcelerator.com for more information. So, you've taken some of the advice that has come from Untethered.tv guests, built an app, and now you're turning your attention to generating some hard-earned revenue. Then you should be looking at Pontiflex App Leads. Some of your peers who are using App Leads are earning CPMs 100 times the industry average. And if you need any other reasons to start, I'll give you 2 more. You can run sign-up ads from top brands, the ones that you recognize, and it won't take your precious users out of your app. Go to appleads.com, that's appleads.com, to sign up. When my company needed to develop a key mobile product, one that I was counting on as a new source of revenue, I knew exactly who to turn to. Macadamian. They delivered on time with incredible attention to detail, and I was able to get product into customers' hands faster than I ever thought possible. I've personally known them for 10 years, and they do make great products even better. Check them out at www.macadamian.com. Hello everybody, welcome to Untethered.tv. This is that place you come to hear those casual conversations with mobile rock stars, to get behind the scenes, to understand how they built their business or are building their business in the mobile space. Some of the good points and the bad points, some things to avoid, some things to embrace. And I'm doing it again today. This time, again, I don't know what it is. I thought that the mobile hub was Silicon Valley, maybe New York, Austin, maybe even Boston, maybe anywhere in the world, really. But all of a sudden, it's Berlin. That's in Germany, folks. Berlin, Germany. And I'm joined today by Travis Todd, who is the co-founder of a company called Buddy Beers. And Buddy Beers, quite literally, you are those of you who have ever said these words, "Hey, pal, I owe you a beer," for helping move, or, everybody's done this, and then you've never followed up on it. Well, now you're SOL, because this is one of those companies that is actually going to hold you to your word. There's no excuse anymore for not actually sending your buddy a beer. And that's the concept behind Buddy Beers. We're going to get into the a little bit more detail when, with Travis. So I'm going to welcome Travis. Thanks for doing this, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you for having me.
Well, I think that that's the problem that you're solving, is that, all those guys who really stiff your buddy who have been waiting for that pint. I mean, what? I don't think that a pint expires, but at some point it just becomes embarrassing to ask for it, right?
Sure, yeah. I mean, there's many different reasons why you would want to drink a beer with a friend.
Yes.
So, for example, here I have 2 beers here. Unfortunately, though, Rob, I would love to give you one, but I'm over here in Germany and you're there in the States. And basically, what we can enable is us to have a beer together overseas, even.
Well, the only challenge is that there's a stigma about drinking in the morning here in North America. You know what that's like, right?
Well, didn't Jimmy Buffett say it's 5 o'clock somewhere?
It is 5 o'clock somewhere. And yes, although beers I reserve to the afternoon, margaritas in the morning.
There you go.
That's terrible. Okay, so Travis, I kind of gave an overview of what Buddy Beers is. You kind of gave a great example, showing me a very cold-looking pint right there. Why don't you give us an overview, quick overview of what Buddy Beers is and what it does?
Sure. Well, I think that probably the best way is for me to kind of tell about the story of how Buddy Beers came about. Sure. I've been here in Germany now for 5 years, and my little brother was in the States, and he turned 21. And obviously, as you know, being in the States, the 21st birthday is a big one, yeah. And so I was thinking, oh man, I wish I could be there. The flights were too expensive, and I was like, how can I just want to buy my brother a beer on his 21st birthday. Being the older brother, kind of welcome him to being 21. And so I started to Google it. How can I send him a beer? How can I buy my brother a drink in the States? And there was nothing. I called some bars and I said, hey, can I like put my credit card behind the bar and like you just charge some drinks to it? And they're like, well, we don't know who you are. We don't know where this credit card is coming from. So there was no way to do it. And me being the entrepreneur that I was, I said, okay, I'm going to make this possible. And I had a friend that owned a bar here in Berlin called Harry Mary's. And it was the expat bar in Berlin, right? So every single English-speaking person in Berlin knew about this bar and came to drink at this bar. And so I figured it was the perfect test ground for this sort of thing because we had English-speaking people that had networks all around the world that I'm sure their friends back home would have loved to buy them a beer. So we rolled it out and we tested it in about a month or so. And we got an amazing response. And immediately after that, I met my co-founders and they were completely on board. So that's kind of how we got it going. The way that the system works is basically...
Before we go there, Travis, before we go there, I mean, when did all this happen?
This was about a year and a half ago. So about January, February 2010 is when we were beta testing it in this bar. And then the bar actually closed because
nobody paid their tabs?
No, our friend was moving on anyways, and it was just kind of an unfortunate circumstance that we didn't get to keep going with that bar. But we got such a great response that actually when the bar did close, all of the original users and testers were like, okay, where can we buy Buddy Beers now? And we're like, I guess we have to keep this going. So
I mean, what were you doing before this? You've been in Germany up until that point for 3.5 years. What were you doing before?
I was previously working at an advertising agency and doing some freelancing for them when I first came to Berlin, but then I've really just been involved in the startup scene and the tech scene here ever since. I worked for some startups here in Berlin early on. One was called Poker Ring, it was a poker players social network, and one was called Unlike.net, and they were an online city guide company, and they're still doing really well here in Berlin. Yeah, so I've just kind of been a man of the tech scene here in Berlin since I got here.
And then you found something like this. I mean, you stumble into this idea because there's obviously a lack of something. I mean, you can't send a beer internationally. Well, I guess you could. It would be skunky and warm by the time I got there. So you kind of do the beta testing a year and a half ago, kind of end of winter 2010. And then, like, was that how you just thought this is an idea? There's a business model here, or did you just think that? Well, I mean, there's a hole here. We're going to fill it.
Yeah, I mean, for in the beginning, it was more of just filling a need, right? There was a problem and we wanted to solve it, and then when I met my co-founders, I kind of they were so excited about the idea that I really started to think, okay, well maybe there is something bigger here that we can do, and so then we started saying, okay, well we're going to do a bigger beta test, a bigger proof of concept, and so we started acquiring more partner bars and started spreading the word a bit more, translated the site into German, etc. And we really started to get some really good feedback. I mean, everybody can relate to it. It's a great service in that it doesn't take very long to explain it. It's taking one of the oldest local social activities in history and just basically putting it online.
Yeah, I think second oldest to prostitution, but you haven't figured that one out yet. No, sorry.
No, we haven't.
So,
but yeah, Buddy Brothels is much later.
That's right. Buddy Brothels. You better get that domain name pretty quickly. I think it's. I don't know how you. Yeah. That would be an interesting thing. Never mind. Okay. So when you went through this process, like you think, okay, I'm really interested to know. Did you see this as a kind of a service to people that you just wanted to enable this, or did you really see this as a way that you could actually generate an income or build a business around it or make a living doing it? Not just in like free beer, but you want to make some kind of money from it, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever you that was a goal from the beginning. I mean, we realized that so many startups start out with no kind of monetization plan, but immediately this idea had an easy way to make money, because if you're buying beers online, there's money changing hands.
Right.
So therefore. you can either take a fee from the user, you can take a fee from the bar, you can, somehow get some of that money. So we realized immediately that there was a business model. We had to tweak it a bit and we had to kind of perfect it. But whenever the money was changing hands, we realized that part of that money could stay with us. So I think pretty quickly we decided that it was a viable business model, and we were going to pursue it.
All right. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of how it actually works and how companies or bars can actually bring that in, because I think that's one of the big struggles that bars are having these days. And as we talked a little bit before, even beer brands are having these days about how do they engage in not only social but mobile and do it in a way that makes sense to them by not giving away the farm. So we're going to talk about that. But when you look back at the kind of the 18 months you've been doing this through the test and the rollout that's happening, did you ever have long-term goals that say, listen, you know what, this is actually going to be we want Buddy Beers to be an influencer, a decision-making, or contribute to the decision-making process about where I go for drinks, right? Like
absolutely, okay. And that's why we started with. From the beginning, we've focused on really acquiring partnered bars that kind of share the vision that we have, because we really want to. The main benefit for the bars is the increase in traffic. Mm-hmm. So you're never going to go drink just one beer, and you're never going to go alone to drink a beer. Hopefully,
is that wrong? Is that wrong? What are you saying?
Well, if you do, hopefully you're drinking, virtually with somebody else as well. But the majority of customers, obviously don't go drink alone, and they don't drink more than one beer. So if you can get a customer to the bar with one beer, then it's a huge benefit for the bar. And there's really two trends that breweries are seeing at the moment as well, which is they're losing a lot of traction and market influence to spirits manufacturers. Mm-hmm. And also, they're seeing that people are not going out as much to drink, partially due to the economy and whatnot. But just the trend is now for people to drink more at home. So that really, well, with friends, I don't know, with family, whatever. But they're seeing a lot more, beers being purchased for home use, and not so many people going out to the bars as they used to. And so this is two problems that we solve brilliantly. We engage people via social networks, via their mobile phone, and everything while they're out on the go. And we also push traffic to the bars that are partnered with us.
I think it's very important, and so let's. I mean, certainly because it's very competitive. In everybody's city, in every core, there's hundreds or thousands of bars that are competing, and they come and they go. And sometimes I sit with people that I know that run bars or own bars, and they come to me and say, so what do I do with this Google Plus? How do I bring social and mobile into this and without suffering, without doing the ridiculousness that is Groupon, where your business is hemorrhaging when you use something like that. So
sure.
How do you, and that's where this really fits in, which is another way to kind of create brand loyalty for the bars, brand loyalties for the beers we'll talk about, and also a really great way to maintain friendships, to pay back the money that's owed or the beers that are owed.
Yeah, absolutely. And we kind of see our model as almost a more sustainable type Groupon for bars, and instead of having for bars, it makes absolutely no sense to do Groupon. I mean, the prices are too low, and the margins are too low, and for us to provide a sustainable method for them to kind of do the same sort of promotions, the same sort of kind of gift voucher-y type activities, it's a much better benefit for the bars.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty amazing because bars are putting up their hand. They're saying, hey, listen, we need some help here. And what people are doing is Groupon, and nobody's really attacking the bar scene right now. There might be some social stuff, like we'll meet at the bar, or we'll create a relationship with a bar so that we can put them on a map, or you can do that kind of stuff. But really, there's nothing. I haven't seen much that is engaging the clientele in the bar at that time.
Yeah, and they're tough merchants too, because it's a very tough industry, the bar industry, because like I said, the margins are low, and they you know, they need every help they can get, but they also need it at a price they can afford.
Yeah. I mean, are you worried about regulatory issues, like legal issues around, you know, as you said, your brother turned 21, and there has to be some sort of, you know, age of majority to be able to even buy a beer for somebody. Isn't that right?
Well, this kind of leads back to what we were talking about earlier about why Germany. You know,
Okay.
it's a bit more flexible here in Germany than in the States. With the drinking age for beer is 16, but it's not super regulated. So right away we have kind of a bit more bit more wiggle room there. But our service is really, if you like read our terms and conditions, basically all we're selling to the end user is a gift voucher for a bar for a specific monetary price.
Gotcha.
So therefore, the onus falls upon the bar to, you know, just as they normally would, make sure that the customer is actually of age, you know, and can legally drink whatever beverage they're purchasing. And then if not, if they have a €5 voucher, basically, they can get €5 worth of Coca-Cola.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great way of circumventing or fixing a value, or I guess buying a beer. You're just buying gift cards or vouchers.
Yeah, but it's much more emotional when it comes attached with like your friend picked out this kind of cool beer for you to try or to drink, and most people end up getting the beer, whatever beer their friend bought them, of course. So.
Well, let's talk about this, the process about this, because. You know, obviously on Tether, mobile focus, and this is mobile enabled. But let's talk about the whole process from start to finish. I help you move. You say to me, hey, Rob, I'm going to buy you a beer, and I say I got to go, but I'll definitely follow up on that. Go from there.
Yeah. So if we're talking from that perspective, I can either get onto our website buddybeers.com. Or our iPhone app is coming out very soon. We just got approved, or it just went into review today in the iTunes store. So I'd either log into one of those and I'd say, okay, I want to send Rob a beer. I'm going to enter either your email address or your phone number, or I'm going to connect, or I'm going to choose you from my Facebook friends. And then I say, okay, I want to buy Rob a beer in, you know, whatever city. Choose the city, choose the bar, choose the beer that you like, and then I'll pay for it either via PayPal, or we have our own virtual currency that is so you can like load up your buddy bucks is what we call them, and then you can buy beers much quicker than notoriously slow PayPal. And then you're going to receive either to your email, SMS, or iPhone app, or Facebook. You're going to receive a message that says, "I bought you this beer," and that that message comes with a 6-digit code. And that 6-digit code is all you need to bring to the bar to receive your beer. So it's super easy. So even if you let's say you're at home and you get the voucher code to your Facebook profile, but then you you somehow need to take that to the bar. You can just write down the code if you need and go to the bar. Obviously, it works much easier if you get it via SMS and you have the code already handy on your mobile phone or via the iPhone app. You know, there's plenty of possibilities. So we wanted to make it accessible to anybody. So you don't need a smartphone to use it. Obviously, it's much more fun, everything with a smartphone. But you can send it to your old Nokia phone via SMS, or even just write it on a piece of paper. You know, the oldest. We like to call it the oldest mobile method of pen and paper. It
even works on HP's WebOS, right?
Yeah, sure.
So, and then I take it there. But the example that you've got on your website is somebody checks into Foursquare. That's the other way that this gets done. It's a little bit more proactive, right? Where somebody actually identifies themselves, stamps themselves at a bar, and then you do the same thing, the same process?
Sure, like we said earlier, there's plenty of ways that you can use it. It's up to the user to be creative about what way they want to engage with their friends and buy them a beer. You can use it like that, or we've found people really like the story of like I'm running late to meet up with my friends at the bar, and I'm like, oh man, I'm like half an hour late. I don't know, there was a car accident. I'm stuck in traffic. or whatnot, and so I'll just buy them their first round.
Nice.
While I'm on the go.
Nice.
You know, and there's all sorts of reasons to buy a friend a beer, and that's why we wanted to make the service broad enough that you weren't locked into a certain network, a certain way of buying beers, but you could just do it however the users wanted.
So I mean, on the bar side, on the fulfillment side, it's just basically a match of the coupons or the code that they get.
Yeah, there was a really interesting problem we had to solve here in Germany because. Germans are notoriously wary of credit cards and anything electronic in terms of cash management, stuff like that. Most of the bars here in Berlin in particular, but in a lot of Germany, don't have cash registers, don't have point-of-sale POS machines, and they don't accept credit cards. And
so it's cash.
A lot of them, it's cash is king still in these bars, and a lot of them they keep it in like a little bag behind the bar. That's how they do their transactions. So it was a really interesting problem for us to solve because we needed to find a way for them to. Oh, and the other thing is they don't have Wi-Fi in these a lot of these bars. So we had to find a way that they didn't have to be connected to the internet or have a cash machine or anything, but still be able to redeem these vouchers. And so that's again when we came upon the oldest mobile method, a pen and a paper. And we took inspiration from the way that the German banking system does bank transfers. They have a thing called a pin and tan list, which is basically a global matching list of codes.
Yep.
And the recipient gets one, and then as each transaction happens, they get like kind of the code that matches that. So that's basically how the system works in a nutshell. And it's super simple for the bars, and they understand it from having dealt with pin and tan here in Germany, and even bars that don't, it's pretty quick and dirty to pretty quick and simple for them to understand. And so that's the basic method of redeeming it.
What about North America though? When you when you bring it into the States, where we're maybe a little bit more sophisticated. I still think that bars in the States, keep their cash in a plastic bag and don't put anything in the cash register anyway. So if anybody
so that was the basis that we built this system upon, this basic paper list, right?
Yep.
Paper matching voucher code list. But obviously, it's so much easier to do when you are internet enabled. So we have a bar management dashboard on our website where the bar tender or employee can log in and they can easily redeem vouchers if they're online. So if they have a computer in the bar, it's super simple. And we have several bars that use that method. And then also the really interesting thing we did was into our mobile app, we built a bartender functionality. So if you're logged in to our mobile app as a bartender, a setting that you can set via our website or have your bar manager set for you, you can actually redeem voucher codes directly from your mobile phone. So,
okay. So I'm in your app as well, and I'll to redeem the voucher.
Yeah, you just click on the bartender tab, and then it pulls up the little code input box, and then you type in the code, and boom, it sends a message to the server, says, "Is this redeemed?" It redeems it, and it says, "Yeah, it's valid for your bar for this price. Go." Basically, serve their drink, ask for a tip. And it's super simple, and it's super simple. It doesn't require any additional hardware in the bars because we're using the customers and the staff's existing mobile phones. And as I'm sure you're well aware of, that's becoming more and more people every day, and especially these young people that work in bars. Most of them have smartphones.
Yeah, I would say that it's a pretty dominant platform. What about your take on this? So do you take a percentage of each transaction? Do you take a flat fee? How do you make money?
So the end consumer doesn't pay any fees, right? So we wanted to make sure of that. We wanted to make it like, if I really wanted to buy you a beer in a bar, I'm paying the exact same price I would pay if you were sitting right next to me in that bar.
Right.
We take a cut from the bar. Because for them, we're providing, like I said earlier, like additional foot traffic, additional the opportunity for them to upsell other drinks, food, whatnot to the customers. So for them, it's really just a customer acquisition cost, and most of them are just fine to give us that cut.
Okay. And it's a percentage of the transaction, is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you mean it's such a simple idea, right? Which is what makes it so compelling. Which is because I think everybody can embrace it. If you're talking about quantum physics and getting your logo emblazoned on a bottle or something like that, customized, it starts to get complicated. But this is so simple. It's got to have an appeal, right? To be able to do this.
Absolutely. We were out last night at one of our partner bars. They had their 18th birthday, and we were doing just some live promotion, just talking to people, telling people about the service. And every single one of them understood it in 5 seconds, and we're like, "This is a great idea. I'm going to use it." And it's really fun because anybody you talk to, as soon as you start explaining it, they just brighten up and they smile and they think it's a really clever idea. And it's a lot of fun to go out there and explain it to people. Yeah.
Just wait till you have to start explaining like buddy brothels. I think that'll be even funner, right?
Yeah.
So talk about this, right? You're in Berlin, and it's easy, I think, to go around to your local bars. But what you guys want to do is scale this sucker. You want to be in as many bars as you can, so this is a global communal experience, right? You can see it one day. It's going to be like the Buddy Beers Day, buy your buddy a beer day, right? Where everybody just does it, and it's global.
Sure.
So how do you do that? How do you, from Berlin, stretch and reach the global bar community?
Yeah, it's a very, very tough problem and a great question. In the beginning, obviously, like I said, we started just by going out and going door to door and acquiring the bars we knew and the people we were friendly with. But we realized very quickly that was a very difficult thing to do, and it was also not scalable in any sense.
That would be the greatest job, going around the world and doing that, and signing up bars.
Sure, and we have people working with us in different countries that are doing that for us.
So how do you scale?
Okay. So we decided that we needed to go to people that already had networks in place. And so we started talking with breweries here in Germany because they already have bar networks. And one of the early ones that latched on the idea and were really, really excited about it was Carlsberg, who's actually a Danish brewery, but they have a big presence here in North Germany. And we got in very close with their marketing department, and they were very excited about it. And like I said, they're very excited about marketing to these I don't want to say younger audience,
16-year-olds. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, but their target market of 20 to 25-year-old hip beer drinkers.
Yep.
So we could provide them that option. We could provide them the ability to get into this into the social networks. Push their brand and push their bars into the social networks, and be this mobile beer drinking solution for their target audience. And they in turn could give us their bar network. Yeah. And also lend a bit of credence to us by putting a big brand behind it, which was a really cool solution for us. And we've had a really good relationship with Carlsberg thus far, and we're now talking to other major breweries in other countries to do the same sort of thing. Yeah, and it's a great partnership, and I think they've scaled our network much faster than we did even. I mean, they've basically doubled our network in the last 2 months from what we had for an entire year. So
how many bars are you guys in now?
We're in about 65, I think, by a day, but we get like 1 or 2 new bars every day, so it's moving very quickly.
All right. And so having Carlsberg on, because interesting approach, right? Instead of going after the individual bars, you're going to go after somebody who's actually already in there.
Yeah.
And then, and I mean, are you worried about exclusivity? If you work with Carlsberg, do they kind of ask you to not work with anybody else, or Grolsch or something like that?
Yeah, they did, and it was a bit of a fight, but we have a limited exclusivity partnership with them.
Okay.
For Germany only. So we made it very obvious to them that, look, this concept requires us to have bars all over the world.
Yeah.
So by saying you want it to be exclusive, you're actually shooting yourself in the foot, because that really limits the audience that can use this. And once they understood that, they were like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like, go out, acquire more bars, do more partnerships, as long as, you know, we're still, we can still have a bit of presence and we can use the system, then they were fine with that. And so they're our major partner in Germany at the moment, but that's fine for us because we're obviously focused on expanding as well, so we're trying to move into the other European countries as well.
Well, I mean, you see so many great opportunities other than limiting by exclusivity, right? Exclusivity is maybe for a limited time is fine, but long term, you're right. It's kind of detrimental. You can't expand your audience. But you do things like, instead of sharing the cost, and maybe you're doing this, and I'm going to assume that you've had these conversations, but and if you're not, feel free to use this. But you share the cost. So instead of sharing the bars absorbing the cost, somebody like Carlsberg absorbs your fee, your percentage, so that the bar is more likely to push it. It becomes like a special beer, right? That oh, did you know that it's at 15 cents off, or whatever it is, a bottle, because it's a promoted beer or something like that. Like, there's opportunities around that, which are much better than exclusivity, but they have a limited range, right?
Absolutely. The only problem with things like that we ran into, we obviously had those conversations with Carlsberg as well, but the only thing is with those kind of massive corporate marketing marketing departments, everything has to be measurable. So if you say, well, just give away all Carlsbergs for a discounted price, and they go, well, how can we measure that?
Yeah.
How many is all? And that's where it gets a bit tricky. So,
but just for buddy beers, like anything with when you launch the app, and we haven't seen the app yet because it's by the time this goes live, I'm going to assume that it's out there. So go and download it. But you can do like promoted beers. Obviously, I'm going to assume inside of the application. And
yeah. Well, we do. We allow the bars to do discounts on their beers, but it's up to them to say, I want to offer this beer at a discount to some of my customers, and a lot of them are doing that. Yeah. And a lot of them are giving away. In Carlsberg's negotiations with these bars, their salespeople are going out and saying, "Hey, look, do a special offer because it will really be, a good marketing tool for you and for the customers." So a lot of them are doing like 4 beers for the or 5 beers for the price of 4, or something like that, 2 for 1 kind of specials. And so I think they're very willing to do it. And Carlsberg is really pushing it for us, which is pretty cool.
Well, just as we're talking, though, Travis, it's pretty amazing because I start to think about, the conduit through the app, through the website, the ability to kind of do what you're doing, but the ability to help market the bar is one thing. The brand is a completely other thing. It answers this question about how these bars and beer brands get a little bit more engaged in a kind of a sticky thing, because on one side you don't want to be promoting underage drinking or any kind of those things that you're worried about with an application like this, or promote just drinking in excess or drinking in general. It's a vice for some people. It's a pure joy for others. But this is one way of marketing this a little bit deeper to a target audience, a very targeted audience.
Yeah, and you touched on something really really important there for us. Is the reason we started with beer. Beer is, it's a great place to start if you're going to do this, because it is the number 2 most consumed beverage in the world. Yep. Next to tea. But the other thing about beer that differentiates it from, say, let's say if we were doing buddy martinis, yep, or buddy shots of Jägermeister, there's something a bit more friendly about beer. Yeah. About sitting down and having a beer with a friend. It doesn't say drinking to excess. It doesn't say as much alcoholism or any of these sort of things. It's a bit more friendly and a bit more emotionalizing than a shot of booze. And I think that was really something that the breweries really caught on to, and the bars as well, because the bars are really excited that the big brand is coming to them and giving them a really cool solution to do marketing in their bars. And like you said earlier, the bars, they need that. They need somebody to come and say, here's how you get into social media and we're going to help you. And so it strengthens the relationship not only between the users sending beers, but between the brand and the bar, between us and the brand. It's really like a big happy family.
It's like a happy family sharing beers. I like that. And, you know, and as my kids grow up and everybody else's kids grow up, it's like instead of texting them, I'm just going to be sending them pints when they're old enough, right?
Sure.
What about, I mean, this has got to be a great target for microbreweries or the little known beer brands, right? So you take Carlsberg and it's a global brand. But then there's like in Canada, there's Mill Street, right? And you know, it's from a little town. But you really start to think, okay, how can those guys? It's perfect for those guys to leverage it with Buddy Beers, whatever bars they're in, to go out and help promote these little microbreweries, because there's, I mean, thousands, millions of beers.
Yeah, being American, I really miss that about the States. I hear it so many times from Germans over here. Oh, America has such crap beer. You know, their beer is terrible. And I was like, well,
Bud, yeah,
we have great beer, but you can't get it here.
Yeah.
In fact, you can't even get it the next state over.
Yeah.
You know, so,
or the next city over, or the next block over, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a big microbrewery fan. I actually brew my own beer at home as well, and that's something that we're really excited about, talking with smaller breweries about using us as a promotion tool.
Yeah.
The microbrewery kind of phenomenon is not big at all in Germany. There's inklings of it that it might start catching on here. It's just started to be big in the UK.
Yeah.
But in most of Europe, there's not a lot of microbrewing that happens, and people are not that aware of it, or it's not as passionate an activity as it is in North America. But we are getting the smaller breweries that are coming to us and saying, hey, look, we're trying to expand our reach. We have a brewery called Wulle that is partnering with us. They're from Stuttgart, but they're trying to kind of expand to Berlin. And they're like, yeah, this is great. You don't need to pay us anything. We don't need to do anything. We'll just promote it and get our bars on there and, you know, push our beers through it. Like,
yeah.
Great.
Done.
You know, because it's a beautiful marketing tool for them as well. Yeah,
it's a great niche, right? Which is maybe it's underserved because it's undervalued and there's no real money in there. But you've got to amplify what you're doing with the traditional beer brands with these smaller ones, so that there's a good balance, right?
Absolutely.
And you know, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but this is like a little beer economy, right? Terrible. Let's quick. I got two themes to touch on as well. One of them is the iPhone app, and you know, I didn't get a chance to look at it. It's going through the approval process with Apple right now, and so the launch is imminent. What you know, are there any unique features in that? Because right now you're doing it by SMS and email. You're basically SMS, email, or Facebook, or the old pen and paper. What are there any? Give us a few highlights about what this app is going to do that right now, and then what it could do in the future.
Sure. Yeah. The app is sponsored by Carlsberg at the moment. This is part of the partnership thing that we did with them, and it really, there's not too many special features. What it really does is just take our online experience and put it into the mobile, and I'd say the biggest special features we have in it at the moment are these bartender features, and also just by nature of it being a mobile app. I'm looking at it right now. You can do a lot of things with geolocation, and you know, so we have a way for you to find all your nearby bars. So you can find a bar nearby that serves Carlsberg, which is really cool. And but mostly it just mirrors the online web service, and allowing you to send beers to your friends via email, SMS. You can choose from your contact list, of course, in the iPhone app, and your Facebook friends. And in the future, there's a lot of really cool things that we want to do with the mobile in terms of you know, really engaging users on the go, and giving them kind of incentives for sending beers or checking in at bars or something like that. It's a really exciting space for that sort of thing. And but at the moment, the app is really just kind of amplifying our web services. And
with Carl, I love the fact that you can, like, that's a business unto itself, white labeling for the breweries, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not, unfortunately, it's not a hugely
Lucrative.
scalable business, but yeah, it's definitely, it's what's keeping us afloat. And what's been really exciting for us is the fact that, we're a startup, but we haven't gone the route of normal startups.
Yeah. Funding
We
wise?
have, yeah, we have absolutely no VC funding or angel investment. All of our investment comes from this deal at the moment with Carlsberg and these other deals we're working out. So it's great for us because it's non-equity funding, and it's allowed us to bootstrap this now for 18 months. That being said, we are putting together a small angel round at the moment to really accelerate this thing faster. It's been, we see that the white labeling this for the breweries is simple, and it's something they're excited about, so it's something we can do pretty quickly.
Well, I like the idea. I like the idea of no funding as well. Maybe angel funded, but ventures, is always tough because you end up losing control ultimately. And depending on the VC situation. Talk about that. This is scrappy startup at its best. This is bootstrapping. You found a client. Obviously, if you can sell it once, you can sell it many times over. But you've got to be. This is one of those things you got to be very cautious about because you're being funded ultimately by one of your clients in Carlsberg, and you don't want to rush out and ruin that relationship by signing up somebody like a competitive brewer. So I like the way that you've done that. It's kind of, listen, we're going to move through this at a pace that allows us to work very closely with Carlsberg, and at the same time, we'll raise a small round so we have a little bit of independence from the sugar daddy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And we were very lucky in Carlsberg, Germany, in that they did see this as a really innovative thing, and they were like just as excited about sponsoring a small startup company as they were and having this great marketing tool. So it was really a big win for them. And we really aligned visions really well. And we've talked to some other breweries who didn't align as well, and we are not partnering with them. But we do find that there are a lot of intelligent, creative marketing people in some of these breweries that do see it as kind of, this is not only good for our brand in terms of marketing, but it's good for us to support a small company like that.
Well, I mean, talk about that. A lot of companies struggle with that first client, right? And it's like, I'll give it away. I'll anything to just get your brand on our website, or to say that you're using it, whether you are or not. I mean, how did you land Carlsberg? And then on the flip side, they're taking a huge risk on a company that's unproven, unfunded, and kind of just out of the gate as a company.
Well, I mean, to be fair, we did cut them a pretty big deal on what we could have charged them.
But you got cash out of them, right? So,
yeah. And basically it's been allowing us to bootstrap now for the last 18 months, I guess. But it was a long struggle. I mean, we were in negotiations with them for a year before we actually got them to sign the contract. And the problem with major companies like that is their marketing budgets really run in cycles. So if you get in at the wrong time, you have to wait a year until they're even going to talk to you. Yeah. So that's also why we're trying to put together this angel round so that we can have money during those gaps. But yeah, it was a tough negotiation, and we really had to pitch them on the team, and that we were capable of doing it, and that we had something really innovative, and that they would be they would be seen as a really innovative company by doing it.
Yeah, I mean, did you have the contacts before? Was it a cold call? Was it?
No, it was a friends of a friends type contact. Yeah. We have some pretty good connections. In the bar scene,
startup scene, bar scene, they go hand in hand, don't they?
They do, yeah. And so that was how we got in there, which was lucky for us, but it was also I don't want to play up luck too much because we did do some hard negotiation with them.
Well, I mean, you're presented with luck, but luck is a combination of right time, right place, and opportunity, and then it's the people who let luck pass them by that fail. I mean, you guys obviously jumped on it, so luck always plays a part.
Malcolm Gladwell wrote a whole book on that, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. We just summarized it right there. You don't have to read the book. What about now? Do you leverage Carlsberg to go out and get new clients? Like, do you think it's going to be easier to get other additional breweries engaged in this?
Absolutely, we've seen it already. When we're in talks with with SAB Miller, which is the second largest brewery holding in the world. And it was so much easier to say, look, this is what we did for Carlsberg, and just send them the links and say, like here's the product, instead of showing them kind of mock-ups and showing them our site and having them kind of visualize what it could look like in their brand. When we just say, this is what we did for Carlsberg, this is what we can do for you, and this is what it will cost. We've already done it once for Carlsberg, so it's going to even cost you less. And then they get excited about that, and then it's just a matter of trying to fit it into their marketing budget and negotiations. Yeah, yeah. The only issue the only issue that they have is that Carlsberg is doing it, so it's always kind of like a me first type attitude, with a lot of these companies. But it just takes some clever negotiation for us to say, hey, yeah, they're doing it, but by them doing it, it's actually helping you, through this whole bar network.
It's incredible because one bar or beer brand plus the bars are helping promote it in the other beer brand, right? So it's you get this mass effect, and it's choice, and it's just another. This is a marketing expense, and instead of putting up one billboard, put money into this company, right?
Sure, yeah, and the price point that we're at is what they spend on. Yeah, what you'd say for like one billboard or one TV ad or TV campaign or something,
Yeah.
One Super Bowl ad, and you could buy like 5 of our white labels, right?
Well, and that's the key is that when you start to think about how those are measured, it might create a brand awareness, but especially in the mobile space, and especially in the when somebody buys and redeems a coupon or redeems well, I guess it's a coupon. For their beer, it's measurable, right? They can know exactly what the money they're putting in and the return they're getting, which is something that you can't say for a lot of the other initiatives that they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
2 questions. Last questions. Buddy Bucks. You talked about this. So this is your kind of gamification of the application. How do those work?
It's built on Ultimate Pay, which is a company that Visa purchased, I think, last year.
Yeah.
They do virtual currency for a lot of online games and stuff. When we contacted them, we were originally on Social Gold, which was another in-game virtual currency type model, but they were purchased by Google last year as well. And then Google decided, hey, we're going to turn this into our in-game currency, but all of your existing clients, you're kind of out of luck for the next 3 months as we develop this. Yeah. And so we said, well, that's not going to work. We need a new solution, and we contacted a couple other providers of these virtual currency ecosystems, and Ultimate Pay was really, really behind us. They were really excited about the idea, and they do a lot of typical online gaming stuff, and so to have something that was kind of a real-world activity that was using virtual currency, they were very excited about, and they helped us out a lot.
Where are they based? Are they in the States? Are they in Germany?
No, they are in the States. I think they have an office in San Francisco and also in Virginia.
Okay.
I think their development office is in Virginia because when we were doing the development, I had to talk a lot with them in Virginia.
Okay.
And it works the same way that any virtual currency would work. You get on our site, you upload, you say, I want 1,000 Buddy Bucks, whatever, and then you just pay through Ultimate Pay, and then it's registered on our site, and then you can use that in our mobile apps, Facebook apps, everything, and it's much faster because you just click, send pay with my Buddy Bucks, send the beer, instead
of PayPal, for example, right?
Yeah. So with PayPal, PayPal's getting better. You can kind of store your session and like check out easier each time, but you still have to enter your username and password, and it takes a while, and then it's in a whole other account you got to deal with. So yeah, the Buddy Bucks thing we see is a really, really cool feature for us going forward. And it also allows us to do really cool promotions where we can just award our users, Buddy Bucks instead of sending them free beers or something else, and they're stoked because then they get to buy the beer for themselves or their friends at whatever bar they want. So it's really cool.
Yeah, you can see how that works, and do you look at like maybe Facebook credits playing a role in this kind of that whole virtual currency, bringing all that in?
I was talking with Facebook. They had an event here about 6 months ago, and there were some representatives from the whole Facebook credits department, and we had a chat, and It's something we're looking at integrating. The problem with Facebook credits is they take a 30%.
Yep. It's not a problem for them.
No, it's not a problem for them. It's like the same transaction fee that Apple would take if you were selling an app through their store. But for us with these micropayments and stuff, they promise, yeah, of course, but we have this massive scale. You can sell to everyone on Facebook, and you're kind of like, well, yeah, but it's still 30%.
Yeah.
So it's something we have to look into, and we're really against charging fees to our customers, but it's also hard to justify the 30% transaction fee without doing that in some sort of way.
Well, I think that integration with virtual currency, one way or another, whether it's Facebook or whether it's somebody else's, I mean, you're doing that already, giving people an alternative way to pay. There's so many more of these little things popping up everywhere, but Facebook is one of those that really can't be ignored, because if some of them are non-monetary value. You're accruing Facebook credits for doing stuff. But it pays out like a currency, which would be very interesting to look at. But yeah, you're right. Microtransactions and thin margins. You don't want to take a loss on every beer.
Yeah,
that's not good business.
Exactly. No.
So, Travis, speaking of the business, what do you hope happens? Is this? Do you hope that you're going to raise a little bit of angel money? You're going to grow this, build out the currency or the breweries and the bars. Do you look at expanding into different products like coffee buddies, or do you look at, listen, we're gonna build this up, and some massive conglomerate like Budweiser Inc. is gonna buy us, or are you just playing this like we're making some money, we want to do this, we're filling a need? Well, what do you think how do you think this is gonna end?
I don't want to get too deep into our long-term strategies, but everything that you mentioned, we've considered.
Yes. The answer is yes, right?
Yes.
Okay.
In the short term, I'd say what we're really trying to do is get saturate the European market in the next year. Get a few more strategic partnerships in Europe so that we can really have a major presence in Europe. And then, if that's going really well, hopefully it will be, that we take the next year and really focus on the States, because it's a model that is super attractive to two markets, the U.S. and the U.K., because the buying a friend a beer phenomenon is really huge in those two countries. In Germany, culturally, people buy their friends beers, but it's typically like, I'll buy you a beer, or I'll go out to drink a beer with you, but we're all going to pay separate checks, and I'm sharing the experience, but we're all kind of covering our own finances.
They're cheap. Is that what you're saying?
Well, maybe that's why they're doing so well in the economic struggles at the moment. But in the UK and the US, and I'm sure you're aware, like, it's all about like buying a round of drinks, or buying the cute girl at the end of the bar a drink to get her attention or something. So we're really excited about getting into those markets, and the thing is, if we're going to go to the US, we want to do it right, and we want to do it big, and we want to do it focused. So that's why we're going to do Europe first and then focus on the US. Unless we get some sort of big partner in the U.S., then we might have to change the strategy.
Yeah, I mean, malleable strategy is always okay, but it's so important to just stay focused on next steps and not kind of think about 3 or 4 steps down, because it could spell the end for you. Well, I'm up in Canada, and I think that Canadians love. There's only 3 things we talk about: hockey, weather, and beer. Right? Yeah. So, and we are that same kind of culture as the UK and the US when it comes to that socialized piece of it. And I think that there are probably 20 people that I've said, hey, okay, next one's on me, right? And so one app feature has got to be that, hey, you know what? Rob said he's going to buy me a beer on this day. This is when he said it, so I can remind him. Like, it's an auto reminder that sends it out to me that says, hey, you promised me a pint. Where is it? Hey, I'm here. You can buy it for me now, right?
Yeah, I'm actually building something very similar to that at the moment, as kind of after my normal work activities, normal feature set. And again, like, a cultural thing that is very interesting is that the Germans don't really say, "I owe you a beer." Like, it's just not a cultural. They just don't say it. It's not like, and there's no real good word for it, and they don't use it as much as English speakers do. Yeah. So when I pitched this concept to them about owing people beers, they were like, "Well, I don't really get it."
I don't know anyone.
And so definitely in this strategy in getting into the UK and the US, that's definitely a big part of it.
Well, I can't wait to see that. So let me know when it comes available. In the interim, how do people find out what bars that you're available in? How do they send people beer? Where do they go?
The website's buddybeers.com.
Yep.
Our bar listing is at buddybeers.com/bars. You can follow us on Twitter, Twitter/buddybeers, Facebook/buddybeers, Foursquare/buddybeers, because we're out drinking as well and we're checking in all the bars, so you can come meet us.
Or send them a beer.
Germany.
Or send you a beer, right?
Exactly.
And then your app should be out. I'm going to assume that at this point, by the time this interview is up, this episode is up, that the app is going to be available in the iTunes store, provided that it doesn't, get blasted out by Apple. And is that going to be available worldwide on every iTunes or every app store?
Yeah, it's available worldwide. Obviously, it's going to be much more useful in Germany at the moment because we have more bars in Germany. But yeah, it will be on all the worldwide app stores, so that even if you're not in Germany, you can buy your friends in Germany a beer.
That's perfect. And Travis, you've just become a friend.
Great.
So yeah, I can't wait to get the app. All right, so go to buddybeers.com if you're interested in finding out where these are available, and start spreading the word. And as soon as the app is available, start sending Travis beer. And we should just make a rule here that is that if we're going to send him a beer, we'll send it on a concentrated day, at a concentrated time, and then we have to get a video camera at that location and watch him drink all these pints.
All right, yeah.
It's just got to be a rule, right? We'll give
it a go. I'll see how far in I can get with that.
Well, I love it. And if you're on the website, just go to buddybeers.com/blah and see their 404 page, because it's classic. It's actually a very good classic beer drinking 404 page.
I actually took that photo.
You did, eh?
Yeah.
Well, it's a great photo. So there you go. It's a little nugget at the end of this episode. Go to their 404. Find a way to get to their 404 page and have a good chuckle. Anyways, I hope that changes. We'll get a picture of Travis up after we've sent him all those beers.
Yeah.
Look, man, I really appreciate the time that you've taken here today to talk about Buddy Beers and what you've done over the last 18 months with this, and a glimpse into the plans. Really appreciate your time.
Thanks, Rob.
And for those of you who are still watching, listening, take a look at buddybeers.com. I really appreciate the fact that you're still here. If you have any feedback, comments, or questions for either myself or Travis, reach out at untether@gmail.com. Or if not, just as soon as you are finished this, go and buy Travis a beer, or anybody in Germany that you know, or wherever the bars are that are actually covered by this.
Sure, yeah, you can buy me a beer at travis@buddybeers.com.
There you go.
That's where I'll take it.
Thank you guys for watching. Travis, thank you for being a part of this. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time on Untether.tv.
Cheers.
Oh, nice. Lucky. I wish I could just reach out and grab that.